Hi, Lauren Stewart back again. So this is the reflection part of the video. So some of the questions that were on the post-activity reflection were, was the agenda followed? And I said yes. I felt like we stayed within the parameters of my question, and although it led to different variations of kind of what I asked, I still feel like the objectives were met. We did identify what works well, what everyone felt like worked really well for them as an individual, and then really where we could get better or where they would like to see us get better. Um, Talking about and reflecting on like time management specifically, something that came across was sometimes those professional developments are just too long. 8 hours in a room with one speaker and you're sitting and you're listening is a long time. And if you know it's 8 hours, some people should kind of shut down or they start checking their emails or they're on their phone. So, if it's a PD that can be put into 4 hours and we don't need the fluff, we don't need all the extra stuff. Like, let's have it be 4 hours, 4 hours of really good professional development. But on the other hand, some of my colleagues kind of cited that there was not enough time to try some of the things that they were doing. You have a PD, it's 8 hours. And then you try some things, and then you don't ever get to go back to that person and say, well, this is what I tried and it didn't really work well. So, kind of having ongoing professional development throughout the year so that you could actually try what the people tell you and see how it works in your classroom. And if it doesn't work, what can I do to make this better? And along with that was the follow up. We do not consecutively like one and done professional developments. If this is something that the district or the school really thinks is super important, then let's keep going back to it. Let's talk about what's going well, what could be improved on, how I can get better. In observations, if you're focusing on parts of a professional development, that should be in your evaluation. Otherwise, a lot of people, if they don't test you on that topic, you're not going to study for it. So with time, I feel like I got a really good sense of what everybody wanted and what is needed specifically with time. Another thing that was on here was effective communication. Nobody likes being told what to do. So, with past professional developments, it was, this is what we're doing this year. This is what you do. There is no choice. There is no option for where you can go or what you can do. This is what we're doing without any input from the staff. But everyone was kind of on the same page with that. This year felt different. This year we're doing visible learning, and there was a lot of, this is the why behind it. And there was a lot of stressing that this is not anything new. It's not in addition to what you're doing, or it is in addition to what you're already doing. So don't think of this as reinventing the wheel. We are just going to build on what you already do and what you already do with your students. And it's just another way of getting students more involved in their learning, finding where they're at. And every teacher wants that. Every teacher wants a student to be, front and center of their learning. We are the knowledge holders, but we don't have to be. So I think a lot of people enjoy this professional development. So this year with effective communication, I think it was very different. Our administrators are always talking about it. Every staff meeting, there is something about visible learning. Every email, there is something about visible learning. Every evaluation, there is something about visible learning. So you could tell that they are communicating with us that this is important to them. This is important to our district. Excuse me. As far as collaboration goes, a lot of my colleagues, want to have more input on the professional developments that they can go to. If visible learning is a district initiative, but there are days where we can kind of pick and choose what we want to do, very specific to our content, they would really like that. They would like to have input on what they want to learn. And also with collaboration, they would like to ask for specific professional development. If our SPED department is really struggling with, like Shanna said, writing IEPs, maybe they can have a professional development just on that. And, if that's what they feel is beneficial to them and it's going to benefit a lot of kids and a lot of people, I don't see why that couldn't be an option. What went well? I think that I got a very wide range of views, but we were all kind of together on the style of professional development that we wanted. Something I would change, I felt like sometimes I was asking the same question twice, or, they really elaborated when I asked them What was the most powerful PD? And going back to like, well, what did you find was the most effective, or why was it most effective? They say that right in that first statement. It was hands on, it was one on one. The things that they felt were really good PDs, they say right in that first sentence why it was so effective. I feel like I probably should have asked more questions about those specific PDs and why. What about one on one is it that really makes you excited about PD, or what is it about content specific that makes you excited about PD? So I probably should have asked or elaborated a little bit more on some of their comments that they gave back to me. Something I found surprising was that a lot of them focused on the style of the PD. That was their favorite. So it had nothing to do with if it was a SPED or a history or a math professional development. And although they like that, they want it to be content driven. Something that was mentioned a lot was that the one-on-one Better Lessons PD that we had last year was very effective because it was one-on-one, the style. One of the professional developments that Allie had said was one that had reflection in it. That could be any PD, and that could be something that we can implement as a building, even if we get a professional development that doesn't have that piece to it. Another thing that they cited was application. I want to use it now. I want to go back on Monday and I'm ready to go with my kids, and I already have 6 ideas because I got that today, and here's the worksheets and I already have them built. And it's, they wanted it to be relevant to right now. And then also important to me, like somebody brought up co-teaching. That is something we do, yet we don't have any PD on it. And that's huge. We have a very different model here. We have these blended learning classrooms where there's about 90 students and 3 teachers, 2 regular and 1 special education, and they have no idea how to work together. You're used to your own classroom and your own kids and your own planning. So that to me is huge. And that was almost like one of the biggest revelations, that we aren't supporting what we already have here. Like, let's not bring in new stuff. Let's talk about what we're doing and let's make sure we're doing it really well. And then another thing that I thought was kind of interesting was that somebody said, we have lots of opportunities here, but not a lot of time. If you would go into our AHA network where they house all these professional developments, there are thousands of them available, and a lot of them are online and some of them are not. And, it's really daunting and it's overwhelming to go in there and look. So I almost am ready to suggest that those people come over and, present to our staff what is available, what is specific to math, what is specific to high school, what is specific to special education, because I feel like people aren't taking advantage of those opportunities that we have. How will this transform me as an administrator? I think I would do this to start when I start, because the information that I got from people that I know was shocking, and it was interesting that we all have different opinions, but we really want the same thing, student success, but we want it in different ways. So going forward, I think I would definitely do another focus group with the building that I am going to be an administrator at, and just get that feedback and see what my people want. This is for them. This is not for me. This is not for me to check a box. I don't want it for them to check a box. I want them to be excited about teaching, excited about student learning, and there's so many new things out there, like trying new things. So it really opened my eyes to, even a 20-year veteran, when Troy was talking, he is still excited about learning. And I really didn't know that about him. I thought he kind of liked, to lecture and this is what I want to do. But it's just that we haven't presented anything that was interesting to him. So I think moving forward, I would definitely do this with the teachers in my building. And then from that data that I gather, really design something that's special for my particular teachers. Okay.